Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to reviewing the Friday the 13th franchise for Halloween month. Now, next is reviewing getting into the 10th entry in the series, and that is Jason X. Now, Jason X came out in year 2001, and which is 8 years after Jason Goes to Hell. Now, I remember seeing this I remember me and my brother watching this years ago, like around the time when, maybe a year or two after this came out. And my brother, he loves this film. But I remember, I did not care for this back in the day. Really enough, I did not care for this back in the day. I pretty much almost hated it. But looking at it now today, I was wrong. I enjoyed this film. I'm glad I was wrong, because maybe because I didn't like the idea because of Jason in outer space. Maybe, and the whole thing about the way he looks, and no, I was wrong. I really enjoyed this film, and I like the idea he was in outer space, and I do like the look that he has. The side right there, I call him Uber Jason. So yeah, I was glad I was wrong on this. And of course, I know it gets hated on, which is understandable. Like the same thing with Jason Goes to Hell, which now I like this film. I understand the hate for this, and same with Jason Goes to Hell. But I like Jason Goes to Hell more than this, though. That one to me is that one's the most underrated in the series. I want to put this one as underrated though, but at the same time, I still like the film. But at the same time, I do understand the hate for this. I know people like the film, and of course, at the same time, people who don't like the film. But now the reason why they make this because after Jason Goes to Hell, they've been trying to get the development to do a crossover with Freddy vs. Jason, and it was been in development hell for a long time. So they had to get it. They wanted to make another. They had to make another Friday the 13th film, just to keep things interesting until Freddy vs. Jason comes out. So they decided to since they don't want to keep in the continuity of Jason Goes to Hell and Friday between then and Freddy vs. Jason, they decided to give the idea to put him in the future to give him more sci-fi-ish type of look, and put him in the future and then put him in outer space. So they went for that, and they got this guy, a director named Jim Isaac. And he directed another film. He directed another film which I forgot about though, but sad thing though, so that Jim Isaac, he's now passed, the director of this film. He's now passed away. He died back in 2012, and that sucks. I think he did a good job with this film. May he rest in peace. I haven't seen his other film that he also directed. So, but he did a good job with this film, and I know the film this film has a few problems though. Even though I like the film, it has a few problems. Just a few, but I'll get into though. And of course, when the film came out, it got very almost panned by critics. Basically, even Ryder, he took a quote from the film and saying this film sucks on so many levels, which I can definitely see. I mean, I can definitely see Roger Ebert's point though, but from my point of view, I would have to disagree with it. I will have to disagree. It has a 19% Rotten Tomatoes and has I think it was a 4 point something in IMDb. I think it was a 4.4 in IMDb. Yeah, 4.4 in IMDb. So it has such low ratings, and didn't perform. It didn't perform box office wise. I think it cost. and this definitely was this was at the time was the most costly Friday 13th film to make. It was about 11 million budget, so it was the most expensive one at the time. And I think it didn't do well domestically, but barely overall. I'm thinking about maybe about 15 million, so it still didn't do that well. Um, and I would pretty much say this is probably like the first one in the actually I think it's the only film in the franchise is pretty much a box office flop basically, because the next ones were successful, but still. Um, and for cast wise, Kane Hodder comes back as to play Jason Voorhees, and the last time he plays Jason Voorhees, and he still did a really good job. I enjoy Kane Hodder. Supporting casts, they're so. That's one issue I have is the cast I think are so. The lead woman, Lexa Doig, or can't pronounce her last name. She does all right. I mean, I think she pretty much does nothing in the film. She doesn't like except in the beginning of the film where she shoots Jason and puts him in the cryo tube. But other than that, the rest of the film, she doesn't do anything in the film. That's for what I saw. Um, Other cast members you have Lisa Ryder, who plays the female robot KM. Chuck Campbell is a Sunrun, whatever his name is. He's the guy who made KM. He's there. Um, you have what else? Jonathan Potts, who plays the Professor Lowe. Like again, he's there. I guess all the other cast members I think are one I rather follow is Peter Mensa, who plays Bronsky. Brodsky. I actually liked him. I think he was like of all the supporting cast members, he was the best one for me. I liked him. I rather follow this guy as a lead. He's like the leader. He's like the lead who leads the soldiers in this film. So in this film, it's in the future. At the beginning, it's 2008, and Jason Voorhees has been captured by the government and what is now called the Crystal Lake Research Facility. Not much of a research facility. It was called Crystal Lake, and the only thing is anything that's related to Crystal Lake is Jason Voorhees. Oh, and it was 2008 when he was captured, and now it goes to 2010 when where the film opens up, and Lexa Doig, who plays Rowan, she's talking with this colonel, and the other guy, the other scientist, is actually director David Cronenberg. I was like, hey, that's director David Cronenberg. I didn't know he was in this film. I think because I think Jim Isaac. I think he's worked with David Cronenberg. Yeah, he's a visual effects guy. So he's worked on with David Cronenberg like The Fly, and I think it was The Naked Launch and X and Z. So yeah, he's worked with David Cronenberg. So I guess he asked him to do a little appearance in this film. So. Yeah, it was nice. It was kind of nice to see director David Cronenberg. So they said, you're to Lexa Doig's character. You're off the hook. So they go in there. Jason is killed this one guy. They kill the little squad they have. They're shooting at him. Does nothing. Like he takes a chain and jerks one guy forward and kills David Cronenberg. He throws like a metal rod right through him. And the general the colonel like basically goes to the door, and she runs away, shoots Jason, puts him in the cryo tube, but he stabs right through her, stabbing her, and the cryo mist leaks and puts them both in a cryogenic sleep for the next 400 years until it gets to the year 2455. So 400 years later. So that this group of people who are like I think they're students on a field trip, I think, and they go to the old Earth because now they moved to a new planet called Earth 2, and because the first one is dead, they find them. They find them both. They bring it back to the ship. They revive Lexa Doig and fix her stab wound. Professor Lowe tells her about where she's in the future, and then eventually Jason, he wakes himself up, and you do get them to a lot of fans of the franchise, probably one of the best kills in the whole franchise when this girl, Jason kills her by puts her face in through a little tub of liquid nitrogen, freezes her face, and then smashes her face, which is crystallized blood and all that. Great death scene. That's a great death scene right there. Probably one of the most creative kills in the franchise to me, and to a lot of people it's considered one of the best ones in the franchise, one of the best deaths. That's definitely a cool death. And he takes one of the surgical knives that kind of looks like a machete to him. He takes it, and you get that little of the score. And one thing I would say though, but even though I do like the little part of the score, but the rest of the score by Harry Manfredini, who comes back once again as the film's music composer, who's done like, except for one of them, but pretty much all the film's scores. I would say this is one of the weakest ones that he's done. Overall, didn't not care for the score in this film. The rest of the scores in all the previous films he's done are good, but this one I just think it wasn't up there with all the other scores he's done on the previous films. So yeah, that's one issue I have is Harry Manfredini's score, which is kind of it's a step down from his previous scores. And then you get another kill where this young couple, the guy's about to leave, and he stabs right through him, and a patch of blood goes on the girl's face. And then when the guy turns around, Jason takes the blade from his back end, pulls it right through him, and takes him. And Lexa Doig tells that Jason's on board and saying that he's an unstoppable killing machine. And then the soldiers, led by Brodsky, are out to go get him. And then you get this next thing where is this virtual reality game where you have this one guy named Azrael, and then you get this other guy named Dallas, which I think they named this character named Dallas because it's sort of the poke fun of Tom Skerritt's character from Alien, Outer Space, Dallas. I think they did that on purpose to do the poke fun of Tom Skerritt's name. But this other guy named Dallas is actually the writer of this film. The writer of this film, Todd Farmer, who wrote on Drive Angry and My Bloody Valentine remake. So yeah, and he's also on the commentary with director Jim Isaac and also producer Noel Cunningham. And there's some pretty good features in this film as well. So you got the commentary with director Jim Isaac, Todd Farmer, and producer Noel Cunningham. Has original documentary, The Many Lives of Jason Voorhees, documentary of the history of Jason. Then it has a original documentary by Any Means Necessary, The Making of Jason X, making it a production commentary. Then the trailer, and then scene selection. And the commentary was pretty good. I liked with director Jim Isaac and Todd Farmer. But Todd Farmer, yeah, the writer of this film, he plays the character Dallas, and they're shooting at these aliens, which the CGI is very bad. It's very noticeable, but I guess that they do that on purpose because it's supposed to be a game that they're playing, though. But still, it is still bad CGI. But I can let that go because they're playing in a virtual reality game here. So, but then they see Jason takes one out and then kills them both, but they're in the game, so it's not really them dying. So they say game over. Then this whole thing, wherever it is, just switches the game off, and then he kills that Azrael guy, breaks his back, and then kills Todd Farmer, Dallas, smashes his head against the wall. Then the grunts is what they call them, the soldiers. They call them grunts. And Jason Voorhees is doing little. Kane Hodder, I would say he does a couple cool, good things. Like not cat and mouse type of thing, but the way he always sneaks up, he sneaks up behind these soldiers. Like he snaps one, he starts turning his neck very slowly, then like that. Or another one where he sneaks up one behind another guy, and the guy starts him kicking and punching, and you get another cool death where he hits him off the ledge, and he lands this giant corkscrew, and you see this body starts going to swirling down because he's on the corkscrew, been stabbed through. And then this one girl, Jason's right behind her, slits her throat, and then another guy, he starts shooting at him. He falls in this hook with a crane with a hook on it. Brodsky says don't take your eyes off him, but of course the guy turns away. Then he gets himself off and cuts the guy in half. And then the female soldier, she gets put on that crane with the hook on it. And Brodsky, how that was a funny line that he says, like he gets stabbed right through here, and he says it's gonna take more than a poke in the ribs to stop this old dog. And he gets stabbed right through the other side. He's like, yep, that ought to do it. But he's not dead though, because the Lexa Doig finds him. He's still alive. And then they kills the driver of the ship because they're about to approach this base. So he kills the driver, so it makes the ship keep on going, crashes through the place, and it causes it to explode. And then he bursts through a window, and he's that guy, Professor Lowe. He's like, "Hi, wait! I know how valuable you are. We can, be fame, money. We can be rich and all that." Like Jason Voorhees doesn't give a shit about all that. And he finds his old machete. And he's like, "Oh, he wants your machete back. It's yours. Take it." He's telling like, "Guys, it's okay. He just wanted his machete back." But then they hear him scream, so he's dead. But it was kind of funny. He's like, he wanted his machete back. So there's some funny lines of dialogue I like in this. But they plan to take the shuttlecraft that they had, but then this other guy named Crutch, Jason has the Lowe, his decapitated head, takes him, then electrocutes him, shows him these electrical things, and fries him. And then the girl, Jensa, I think her character's name was, she's gone crazy, she about to start the shulker, but the thing is still hooked on, so she killed herself by crashing into the bottom because the hook thing was still on. Then Jason was going to get the other three, the other two Lexa Doig and the other girl, and the guy, Waylander, as his name is. And then Chuck Campbell, I forget his character's name is, Sonoran, I don't know how to pronounce it. He's like, "Hey, Slappy." And then KM comes in looking badass looking. And when Jason throws a machete, thinks he's got her. But then, because she's a robot, she's not human, shoots him, starts shooting both guns. And then Jason punches her, then about to get her. But Brodsky steps in for a distraction. Then she shoots all the way around him. And then shoots his arm off. And then she takes this grenade launcher type of weapon, shoots his leg off, shoots him in the chest right here, and then blows his head off. And then they decided to blow up to blow up one part of the ship for the detonators until the emergency evac comes. And then you get this where these nanobites that help revive the girl earlier, they revive Jason. You get, which is also kind of another issue I have is that he gets this new cool looking look of Jason until way over the hour mark. I think it's What time is how much this is? Yeah, it's only 92 minutes, so it's not that long of a movie, but it's way over the hour mark, like about hour and 15 minutes, around there, until he gets his new look. So majority of him has his old look, which is also which is also quite weird. Is that Jason throughout the whole movie, the whole franchise, he's bald. But I also noticed that in this film he has like a full set of hair, like right there, which I noticed like not recently, but like a little while ago. I noticed he has some hair on him. Which is kind of funny that in Jason Goes to Hell he had like a little bit of a long hair though, but he's like but he still was like bald and stuff in the Jason Goes to Hell. But here he has a full set of hair, which I noticed a while back. But anyway, he doesn't get this new look until like pretty much like somewhere around the hour and 15-minute mark, I believe. Cool looking look though. And Cam tries to shoot him, does nothing. Like he's looking at himself, it bounces, nothing doesn't hurt him. She knocks her head off, and Waylander blows the charges, but it still doesn't kill him though. He punches a hole, which releases all the oxygen out, and this girl, I forget her name was. She says the quote that what Roger Ebert says about he feels about the film. This sucks on so many levels, and then she gets pulled to the grate, and she gets sliced to bits. You see, like, because she gets pulled into space, but she gets like sliced to bits through the grate. So when the evac is there, but the door's jammed, so Bronski has to go outside in the spacesuit to patch it up, manual, and Jason's come in, and Chuck Campbell, he uses KM's head to create a virtual reality of Camp Crystal Lake from 1980 from the first film. And then he creates like these virtual two women, camp counselors. It was like, we want a beer or premarital sex? And then they're virtual though, but Jason doesn't really technically kill anybody with his new look. I mean, the two virtual women are not real, so that does not count though. But basically, he doesn't kill anybody with his new look, which sucks. I'd like to see him do more damage when in his new look though. But when he's always killing the virtual girls, like he does his like Kane Hodder does this like sort of nod to Part 7 New Blood, where he killed that woman by slamming against the tree. Well, this time he takes one girl with a sleeping bag, slams it against the other one, and then hits it with a tree. So I thought it was kind of funny where he did a poke fun from Part 7 The New Blood, because even Kane Hodder said that was his favorite kill of playing Jason was from Part 7. So it's kind of nice to see that part there. But in this though, it seems it's more of a funny moment where he's slamming against one against the other. But the evac comes, then they get the doors open when the ship's about to explode. But Bronski, he definitely looks like a badass. He closes the door right in front of Jason. Jason looks, and Bronski has that look on his face like that's a badass looking look. He's gonna go. Just where it explodes, it cuts away though. They're both gonna go at each other just before the ship explodes. Like, oh, I wanted to see that. What was gonna happen? Because Bronski's giving that badass look, and they're both gonna go at it. But then it cuts away to the ship explodes. I would like to see them duke it out, But the ship explodes. Jason's gonna come flying right this way, but then Bronski pushes him away as they go down to Earth, and they both burn up on re-entry as they enter the atmosphere. And a couple sees him as a shooting star, and this is a land in the lake. Let's go check it out. And the film ends with Jason's mask at the bottom of the lake. So, but yeah, Jason X. I had fun with the film. I'm glad that I like it now more than I did years ago. Because years ago I just pretty much was on the verge of hating the film because I did not care for the film at all. But I'm glad I was wrong on this. I had a lot of fun with the film. Like the issues I have like with Harry Manfredini's score is a step down than the previous ones. Jason Voorhees, when he's Uber Jason, he doesn't do much, like, he doesn't kill, basically he doesn't kill anybody, let alone, he doesn't come until, like, his new look doesn't come until, like, towards the end of the movie, which they did more in the halfway point of the movie, which sucks. The lead girl, Lexa Doig, she basically doesn't do anything, she doesn't, except for the beginning film where she shoots Jason and puts him in the cryo tube, though, but still, she doesn't do anything. She doesn't fight Jason. Compared to all the previous ones in the franchise, they all fought. They did something, but she doesn't do anything. I rather follow Peter Mensa's character, Spronsky. He's more of a badass character than her. I mean, he does something, though, but especially, I would love to see that fight before the ship explodes. I would love to see that fight because it gives like such a badass look, and he's gonna, go and see them duke it out. But we don't get that sadly though. I would love to see that though. Wish they wouldn't have cut away to see it make a full-on battle though, but still. Other than the Lisa Ryder who plays KM, I think she was fine. I thought she did, the whole look at her trying to look like a badass, shooting him. He blows into bits. Was cool. But the rest of the supporting cast, they were there. They were so, but almost forgettable though. It's like the same with the cast in Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan. The cast, I would say, they're just, eh. But Kane Hodder, once again, he does good as Jason. No doubt about it. He does a great job once again. Jim Isaac did a good job with the film. He's sad he's no longer with us. I wish he could. After Jason X, he did it. After looking up again, looking up who he was not only visual effects advisor, but he did a film called Pig Hunt, I think it was. I haven't seen it though, but wish he could have done more after. Well, I guess if this film didn't do that well, maybe he couldn't get any more jobs. So, but I like the kill. It's definitely the best kill of the franchise was the girl with the nitrogen face. But the rest, like, there were some good kills as well. David Cronenberg's death. He gets a spear through him. Like one of the soldiers, he gets through that giant corkscrew and he's like twirling around. And one guy gets cut in half. Jason, but the idea that I do think I like now is Jason in outer space. I definitely think this is a lot better than Leprechaun 4 in space. If you were playing like horror icons in space, I like this a lot better than Leprechaun 4 in space, and Hellraiser 4 Bloodlines, that was another one. Pinhead is in space. I like this a lot better than Hellraiser 4. So, but I do understand why people don't like the film though. But to me, I like it. I definitely like this a lot better than I did years ago, which I'm glad about. I'm glad I was wrong that I like the film now. But yeah, it was another fun entry in the series. Different. And once again, Jason in another different environment, which Part A, which is false though, but still on a boat, and then Part of New York in the sewers, subway. Here it's another thing about the environment. He's in space and it's in the future. But yeah. So yeah, but I'm glad I like the film. Jason X is a fun film. Even though I would like to see him as Uber Jason more in the film, which it came out towards the end of the film, which sucks. So, but yeah, Kane Hodder once again, good job. So yeah, that's my review on Jason X. Thanks for watching, and then stay tuned for the last one of the entry. It's the 2009 remake or reboot. Later.